In the Shade of the Qur'an by Sayyid Qutb, Surah 86, Surah at-Tariq, the Night Visitor.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Was-samaa'i wat-Tariq. وما أدراك ما الطارق النجم الثاقب إن كل نفس لما عليها حافظ فلينظر الإنسان مما خلق من ماء دافق يخرج من بين الصلب والترائب إنه على رجعه لقادر يوم تبلى السرائر فما له من قوة ولا ناصر والسماء ذات الرجع والأرض ذات الصدع إنه لقول فصل وما هو بالهزل إنهم يكيدون كيدا وأكيد كيدا فمهل الكافرين أمهلهم رويدا.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. By heaven and by the night visitor. Would that you knew what the night visitor is? It is a star of piercing brightness. For every soul, there is a guardian who watches over it. Let man then reflect of what he is created. He is created of gushing water, which issues from between the loins and the chest bones. Allah is well able to bring him back to life. On the day when men's consciences are tried, he shall be helpless, with no supporter, by the heaven with its returning rain, by the earth ever splitting with overdue. This is surely a decisive word. It is no frivolity. They try and scheme against you, but I too have my schemes. So give respite to the disbelievers. Leave them alone for a while. It has been stated in the introduction to this 30th part of the Quran that its surah are like continuous, loud and violent knocks, or like shouts addressed to people who are fast asleep. Both knocks and shouts repeatedly strike their senses with the same message and the same warning. Wake up! Rise, reflect, look around, think, consider. There is a God, there is an organization and a deliberate system of creation. There is trials and liability, reckoning and reward, severe chastisement and endless happiness. The present surah is a typical example of these qualities. Its tone is sharp. The scenes portray the rhythm chosen, the sounds of individual words and their meanings all contribute to the sharpness to tone. The scenes include the night visitor, the star piercing with brightness, the gushing water, the returning rain, and the splitting earth. The meanings include watching over souls. For every soul, there is a guardian who watches over it. The lack of strength and help. On the day when man's conscience are tried, he shall be helpless, with no supporter. a complete seriousness. This is surely a decisive word. It is no frivolity. The same characteristic applied to the warning given in this surah. They try and scheme against you, but I too have my schemes. So give respite to the disbelievers. Leave them alone for a while. There is complete harmony between the scenes of the universe portrayed in the surah and the fact states. The harmony becomes abundantly clear when the surah is carefully considered. By heavens and by the night visitor, would that you knew what the night visitor is? It is the star piercing with brightness. For every soul there is a guardian who watches over it. This oath includes a scene of the universe and a fact of fate. It opens by mentioning heavens and the night visitor, and follows that statement by the form of exclamation made familiar in the Qur'an. Would that you knew what the night visitor is? This form of exclamation gives the impression that it is mysterious beyond explanation. The Qur'an then states its nature and form. It is a star of piercing brightness. It pierces darkness with its penetrating rays. The description applies to all stars. There is no need to attach it to a particular star. Generality is more useful in this kind of context. It makes the meaning read like this: by heavens and its stars, which pierce darkness and penetrate through that veil covering all things. Thus, this reference sheds its own light on the facts outlined in this surah and the scenes it portrays, as will be discussed later on. Allah swears by heaven and its piercing stars that every soul has its observers appointed by Allah to watch it. For every soul there is a guardian who watches over it. This particular mode of expression implies a strong assertion that there is an agent appointed by Allah to watch every soul and to keep a record of his action and thoughts. The watch is over the soul because it is there that thoughts and secrets which are responsible for action and its rewards lie. Thus, people are not left to roam about over the earth or to do as they wish without someone to watch what they do. On the contrary, an accurate and immediate record is kept, on the basis of which the reckoning is made. The awesome inference becomes clear as the soul feels that it is never alone even when without company. There is always the watcher who remains nearby even when one hides from all and is secure against any visitor or intruder. There is a watcher who penetrates all cover and has access to all concealed things in the same way as a piercing staff tears through the night cover. For Allah's method of creation is the same with regard to human souls and the wide horizon. This touch which unites the human soul and the universe is followed by another which emphasizes the truth of organized creation and deliberate planning to which Allah has sworn by heavens and the night visitor. The early stages of man's creation constitute a proof of this fact and suggest that man is not forgotten as an insignificant lost item. Let man then reflect of what he is created. He is created of gushing water, which issues from between the loins and the chest bones. Let man consider his origins and what has become of him. It is a very wide gulf which divides the origins from the final product. The gushing water from man, the intelligent, rational being, with his highly sophisticated, organic, neurological, mental, and psychological systems. The reference to this great gulf which the gushing water crosses in order to be made into a communicating being suggests that there is a power beyond the province of man which moves that shapeless and powerless fluid along the remarkable and impressive journey until it is shaped into its magnificent ultimate form. It implies that there is a guardian appointed by Allah to look after that moist germ and to guide it through its remarkable journey, which is full of wonders much greater than those met by man throughout his life. This one fertilizing cell, of which there are millions in every gush, is hardly visible under the microscope. It is a creature without support, reason or will, but as soon as it settles in the womb, it proceeds to search for its food. The guiding hands of Allah equips it with a quality which enables it to convert the lining of the womb around it into a pool of blood to supply it with fresh nourishment. Once it is sure of the availability of food, it starts another process of continuous division to produce new cells. This shapeless and powerless creature, which has no reason or will, knows exactly what it is doing and what it wants. The guiding hands watching over it provide it with guidance, knowledge, power, and will to enable it to know its way. It is charged with the task of making every group of the newly produced cells specialized in building a part of the magnificent structures of the human body. One group proceeds to produce the skeleton, another group forms the muscle, a third the nervous system, a fourth the lymphatic system. The same applies to every major part of the human structure. But the matter is not as simple as that. It involves a higher degree of specialization, for every bone, every muscle, and every nerve is unique and dissimilar to every other. The structure is accurately planned and has a wide range of functions. Hence, as every group of cells proceeds to fulfill its appointed task in building the structure, it learns to break up into specialized subdivisions, each having its particular function in the general setup. Every little cell proceeds knowing its way, destination, and function. Those cells entrusted with the task of forming the eye know that the eye must be in the face, and that it cannot be situated in the abdomen or the foot or the arm, despite the fact that any of these localities is a suitable place for forming an eye. If the first cell charged with making the eye was taken off course and planted in any of these localities, would have fulfilled its mission and made an eye there. But when it sets out on its mission, it simply goes to the exact spot specified for the eye. Who then has told this cell that this structure needs its eye to be in this particular spot? It is Allah, the watching guardian, who guides it, looks after it, and shows it its way. After the cells work individually and collectively within a framework set for them by certain elements functioning inside the cells, the elements are known as the genes, which preserve the general characteristic of the species and the distinctive traits of the parents and forefathers. When the eye cell divides and proliferates in order to form the eye, it endeavors at the same time to preserve its shape and particular features, so that it turns out to be a human eye and not an eye of an animal. Furthermore, it endeavors to make it an eye of a human being whose forefathers had certain features and characteristics which distinguish their eyes. The slightest errors in designing the eye, whether in shape or quality, forcing the forming cells out of its set course. So who has endowed power, ability, and knowledge to this insignificant cell which has no reason, will, or power of its own? It is Allah who taught it to design and produce what all mankind has never designed or produced. For mankind cannot design an eye or part of it if they are charged with this task, while an insignificant cell or group of cells in the human body can accomplish this great mission. This is merely a quick glance at parts of this remarkable journey which transforms the gushing water into the communicative human being. But there is indeed a great multitude of wonders in the physiological functions of the various organs and systems. It is beyond the scope of this work to trace these wonders, but they all constitute evidence of the elaborate planning and organization and bear the stamp of Allah's guiding, helping and guiding hand. He emphasized the first fact in the Surah, sworn to by heavens and the night visitor, and prepare for the next fact, namely the resurrection, which are not believed by the polities who were among the first to be addressed by the Qur'an. Allah is well able to bring him back. On the day when men's conscience are tried, he shall be helpless with no supporter. Allah, who has created him and looked after him, is well able to bring him back to life after death. The first creation is evidence of his ability as well as his elaborate planning and organization. Unless there is a return for a trial of the secrets in order to accord everyone his fair reward, then the highly sophisticated and wise creation would be in vain. On the day when men's conscience are tried, the Arabic terms used by the Qur'ans have much wider connotation than conscience and trial. They suggest that that part of the human soul where secrets are safely deposited will be thrown open, searched, and exposed in the same way as the night visitor penetrates the covering darkness of the night. As the guiding watcher penetrates through the soul hidden under multiple covers, secrets are tried when man finds himself powerless and without support. He shall be helpless, with no supporter. Standing bare with no cover and being without strength adds to the strain and hardship of the situation. The description has a deep effect on the reader's perception as it moves from talking of the universe and the human soul to man's creation and his remarkable journey until he reaches the end when his secrets are exposed, where he stands alone, powerless and without support. By the heavens with its returning rain, by the earth ever splitting with verdure, this is surely a decisive word. It is no frivolity. The rain which comes from the sky again and again, and the vegetation which splits the earth and springs out with are two images describing one of the many manifestations of life, the life of plants and the origin. Water which pours down from heaven and verdure which springs out from the earth are akin to the water gushing between loins and the breastbones, and to the embryo springing out from the darkness of the womb. It's the same life, the same scene, the same movement. It is one system indicating a maker who has no competitors. The rain and the verdure scene is not dissimilar to that of the night visitor, the piercing star as it splits cover and curtains. It is also similar to the scenes of conscience being searched and all concealment being thrown open. It is again the same style of structure which tells of the Maker. Allah swears by these two creations and their two events, the events of the heavens of the returning rains and the earth splitting with verdure. The impact of the scenes portrayed combined with the rhythm to strike a strong notes of finality and decisiveness. The oath is that this word, or the Quran generally, which states that there is a return and a trial, is the decisive word which admits of no frivolity. It puts an end to all argument and to all doubts and uncertainties. It is a true and final word, to which both the heavens of the returning rain and the earth splitting with verdure are witnesses. When this final statement of return and the trial is made, there follows an address to Allah's Messenger. At the time of revelation, he was with the few believers who supported him in Mecca. They were suffering the brunt of the hostility of the polities and their plots against the Islamic cause. But the polities were tirelessly trying to smother the call. The address is made to the messenger to encourage and reassure him and to disparage what the schemers devise. He states that the scheming is temporary. The battle is in Allah's hand and under His command. So let the messenger persevere and be patient, and let him and the believers be reassured. They try and scheme against you, but I too have my schemes. So give respite to the disbelievers, leave them alone for a while. Those people who are created out of gushing water, issuing between the loins and the breastbones, brought forth without any strength, ability, or will of their own, guided along the long journey by the divine power, and destined to that return when the secrets are searched and tried, and where they have no strength or support, are devising schemes against the Prophet and the Muslim. I, the Creator who guides, preserves, and directs, bring back to life and puts to trial the able, the victor, who has made the sky, the night visitor, the gushing water, the man, the maker of the heaven, which is returning rain, and the earth splitting with verdure. I, Allah, am devising a scheme of my own. So there are the two schemes and the battle. It is in truth a one-sided battle, but described as one between two sides for the sake of sarcasm. So give respite to the disbelievers, leave them alone for a while. Do not be impatient. Do not precipitate the end of the battle when you have seen its true nature. There is a wisdom behind this respite and delay, which is short even though it may take up the whole length of this first life. For how short this life appears when compared with a life of limitless duration. Allah's benevolent and compassionate attitude to His messenger is noticeable in the final verse. So give respite to the disbelievers, leave them alone for a while. He is addressed here as if He were the final authority, or as if He were the one who decides or approves that they may have a short respite. But the messenger has no such authority. It is merely an expression of kind and benevolent tenderness, which blows an air of compassion over his heart. It is a divine tenderness which suggests that the messenger has a say in the whole matter, as if he had a share or an interest in it. It lifts all barriers between the messengers and the divine domain, where all matters are judged and settled. Subhanallah, walhamdulillah, wa la ilaha illallah, wallahu akbar. ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم.